Everyone, now welcome to another video set looking at the reservoirs of Derbyshire and South Yorkshire. I say Derbyshire and South Yorkshire because today we're going to try and follow the course of a conduit, a section of pipe, a tunnel 4.5 miles in length. That's just over 7 kilometres, built over 100 years ago to top up the reservoirs which feed Sheffield in South Yorkshire. I'm talking about the Rivelin Tunnel. There she is. Got a nice headstone, date stone at the top, 1910, and you can hear that water gushing through, and it's coming from none other than Ladybower Reservoir. That's where the journey begins. So although it's a tunnel we can never walk through, it's a tunnel which has got some nice artifacts and relics which can trace the route across the top. So what we're going to do now is talk to you at the other end where the journey begins at Ladybower Reservoir. So we've got Ladybower Reservoir down there, Ashupton Road. And I'm hoping that if I take this path up here, because if you go up there you're going to end up going over to Bamford Edge. If we get in here and through the woods, I think we may find our pump or valve house, which is going to be the beginning of our Rivelin Tunnel, and then we can begin our 4.5 mile journey over the top of the hills and hopefully find some of those sighting tower remains. So we found the Rivelin Tunnel valve house. That is right there, look at that stone building. You've got the water coming out, which is obviously being pumped up from Ladybower Reservoir. It's shooting over there and it's dumping itself underground and setting off on its journey for 4.5 miles all the way over to the Rivelin Reservoirs. So this is brilliant that we've been able to find this. I didn't think I'd be able to, but after a bit of perseverance through the woodlands, this footpath's just up there, we managed to find it. Isn't that just brilliant to see the beginning of the Rivelin Tunnel journey? So a quick look at this map from the mid-1950s, so you can see the body of Ladybower Reservoir just here and Derwent Dam is up here. The Redmires Reservoirs are over here and the Rivelin Reservoirs are just here. Let's put you on to a Google map and you can see how it looks today from a satellite image. And our tunnel runs from the letter A right through to the letter B, what I've just highlighted just now. That's some 4.5 miles. So let's have a closer look at the area where we're going to begin our journey. So you can see Ladybower Reservoir down there. This is Heatherdene, that's where our tunnel begins its journey off towards the Rivelin Reservoirs. Now you can see the Ladybower Viaduct that joins the A57, and down on the top right hand side of the reservoir, that is where Ladybower Bridge is. We've looked at that before. And can you remember there was that small piped aqueduct that went over the Ladybower Brook just before it goes under the Ladybower Bridge? I believe this is probably where the Rivelin Tunnel gets its water from, because the trajectory of this piped aqueduct going over the Ladybower Brook heads straight off towards Heatherdene, where the journey begins for the Rivelin Tunnel. Could be wrong, but it would make sense that that's where it draws its water from. And zooming in just a little bit closer at Heatherdene, you can see where it says Tunnel Inlet. It actually is marked. The tunnel entrance is marked Rivelin Tunnel, and that's where we're going to begin. And here's what it looks like today. That's the car park that many of you would have parked in when you've been to Heatherdene and walked around Ladybower Reservoir. Now I found this remarkable image of an old map. It's an old drawing of all the reservoirs, and it even shows where the connecting water transfer routes are and tunnels. And if we zoom in, you can see just here the Rivelin Tunnel beginning at Ladybower Reservoir, and it ends at the Rivelin Reservoir. But this was drawn long before Ladybower was even constructed, because this Rivelin Tunnel was built around about 30 to 35 years before Ladybower came to fruition. As it says on the map, intended Ladybower Reservoir. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Now I was fortunate enough to come across this drawing, and it shows the pipeline, the tunnel, going from the beginning of its journey right through to Rivelin Reservoirs. You can see the Redmires Reservoirs are also in the drawing at the bottom. The Sheffield Corporation Waterworks, and note that it is titled the Derwent Valley Tunnel. And here's a drawing of the Rivelin Tunnel outlet and it's an engineer's drawing as it says on the text below, and it does say 1909 on the date stone, but the date actually carved is 1910. I just stood up from the valve house, that's just there where the water is gushing down. It must pass right below here because there's this peculiar concrete square formation, look. What this used to be, I really don't know. It's a man-made dam there, look, in the brook as well, feeding its way down. We go further up, right there's an old hut, an old stone abandoned hut. And whether that had anything to do with the tunnel or farming, a strange location for a farm building, don't know. Yeah, it's absolutely empty and abandoned, and very, very short back to the wall. But that's pretty smart, isn't it? So I'm going to make myself further up the top of the hill now, and we're going to have a look, see if we can find and pick up the route of this tunnel by locating some of the former sighting towers. Come on. Okay, this is a really, really lovely spot. I always tend to stop here on my way on descent down from Bamford Edge, not far behind me. Beautiful little brook. Now it's the brook that flows down where we just were, where that stone hut was, and down by the pump and the valve house. So on maps, this is pretty much in a straight line down to where we were. We haven't come that far up, it's took me about 5 minutes to get here. So, we've got to assume that somewhere in this area, this vicinity, our Rivelin Tunnel must be deep down below. So that's where we've come from. Now we've got this really steep climb to get near the top. So in order to construct this tunnel, they needed a railway, and it was an electric railway. And the dangers of working in this environment must have been absolutely staggeringly high. Risk of electrocution or maybe even water dripping down. I love this picture as well. This is standing above the tunnel outlet, looking out onto the land, which is now that small little reservoir that's underground before it discharges itself into the Rivelin Reservoirs. It's a very dark image, but it's absolutely extraordinary. Okay, we found one. So in case you haven't been up here overlooking Ladybower down there, look, and wondered what this is the first of 3 sighting towers which plots the course of the Rivelin Tunnel, which has got to be directly below us. It's very, very windy up here, so apologies for any of that. Now it is very windy up the top here, as you might imagine. But this is the first of what we have come to see, used in the construction to provide a line of sight for engineers and the construction workers to plot the route of this tunnel below us. So the tunnel is going to be right down there, heading off over there, where that pump and valve house is, just around about there. So we found number 2, and it's a lot higher. It's about twice the height of the first one, isn't it? But you can't see the first one from here. I wonder if they used to stand on top maybe, and it may have just been enough, because the way it's capped off, I'd say it would never have been any higher. I didn't really expect to find one so soon. The other one was just over there. You can just see Ladybower poking out just there. So that's truly fascinating, isn't it? That circular arrangement down there as well. And our tunnel is below us once again. Incidentally, if I'd have gone that way, we'd have gone off towards Bamford Edge. You can see Win Hill right there, look. I was up there following the course of another one of these tunnels only last week. There's Stanage Edge in the far distance, look. My eyes are continuously on absolute stalks looking out for more of these sighting towers. Stanage Edge is getting closer. The route of the tunnel is going to be somewhere there. So the other sighting tower was over there and it faced in that direction, but I'm just sticking to this footpath currently, so I'm not walking through all the heather. I've never been up there in all the years that I've been coming up the Peak District in Derbyshire. I've never done Stanage Edge, so that's another walk to do, I think, heading off over towards Hathersage, isn't it? Another time. I also love how all this history about the reservoirs around here and these tunnels that a lot of people really do not know exist. It's just getting me out and doing walks that I've never done in my life as well. So it's a learning experience for me, and I'm finding new places to go to, which might mean that you lot are as well. It's a nice little spot, brook running down. That was an old hut over here, look. That'd be nice to take shelter in there, wouldn't it? Just gonna have a little look at it. I like this. Do you know what? I'm gonna sit and have a coffee just here. This is amazing. How nice of people to decide to put barbecues on here as well. Ridiculous, isn't it? Not a bad little view if you're caught out in a bit of a wind and rainstorm. This is pretty handy, this is. It's blocked out the wind. I like it. I'm just sat here having a coffee. Now the tunnel itself is 6 foot 6 inches high, and it has a maximum width of 6 foot all the way through. I believe it is pretty much straight for the entire 4.5 mile course. That's around about 7.3 kilometres, I believe. And it was constructed from 1903 and completed by 1906, so a 6-year job. And it even fell £15,000 under budget. I wonder what that is in today's money. Good few million, I expect. So once I've left here, we're going to head back down just around the corner at site, over the top, and we'll proceed up towards Stanage Edge. Hopefully we might see another one of these sighting towers not far from here, because I can imagine why there are none down. It's like a V shape, the valley just here. So that second tower we found, which is in that direction, what you can't see, is probably the last one, and it was high enough to maybe see the next one over towards Stanage. I believe this is sighting tower number 3. The crumpled remains. You can see the base foundation just there. I'm staying low again because of the wind. Give you a quick look all the way around. It looks like the same stone, the same size blocks that were used in the previous 2. Next to this curious little hut, some kind of shelter just there, look. So we've got Stanage Edge just here, over there, Robin Hood's Cave, and onwards towards Heatherdene in that direction. A57 is about a quarter of a mile over there. Ladybower is going to be about nearly 2 miles that way now. That's what we've done. So there we are, number 3. Our tunnel is right down there. And there's plenty of footprints in here, so you can see where people have taken shelter from maybe a really bad rainstorm or something. Curious lines through the wall there in the stonework. So you got to imagine a lot of the rain is pretty much probably almost horizontal along the top here. Right, that's the direction I need to be going. I'll spin you around so you can see that's where we were. Really, really windy. Sheffield is around about 8 miles in that direction too, but we're not going that far. We're in search of a small catchment of water, another tower, and also something that appears to be known as the Spooky House. This is our first interaction with the Rivelin Brook. It's sourced just a little way in that direction, and it's going to meander its way down and end up at that water catchment area which we're getting very close to. The Spooky House is coming into sight as well. It's not really a spooky house as far as I know. I think that's probably what the locals call it. It will be a waterworks building. Don't know if we can get inside. I'm not expecting that we can, but it'll still be nice to go and have a look at it. I'm going to have lunch there as well, I think. So we're going to get to the other side of this, and I'll see you at the water and the Spooky House. Now just down by that water catchment you can see the stone building there. That's got 1953 on it. Now this water looks very, very steady, like there is no flow whatsoever, but listen, there is water dropping. Inside I can see that this even looks like white brick. I don't know if I can get any closer. That just there, it's like a white brick. It probably isn't white, but it stands out like a sore thumb. It curves around here to a double sluice gate, look. We're going to go beyond this in a little while. I am going to go back to the Spooky House, but we'll have a little look at this. Yeah, 2 gates, look. There we go, steady flow of water coming out. That sluice is just there, and on the other side we've got this, look. It's another route that the Rivelin takes, and it comes out of there. I think I've also detected the source of that running water we could hear in that short culvert to be dropping just there. Right, I think it's time to get inside this former waterworks building. The door is open. Look at this. Sheffield Waterworks, SWW, if you can make that out. It's on the other side as well, look. Ah, look at this. So yeah, typical graffiti. Look at the old fireplace and shelves and the table. How old is that? Look at that window. Oh, this is alright, isn't it? I mean, you could call that in bad weather. This would be perfect. I also noticed a door on the other side when I was coming down over the moors. Let's have a walk around and we'll see if that is also open. So there's that exterior window that we was just looking at. And in this room again, look. That old fireplace, that is remarkable. Looks like it's been capped off or collapsed. Certainly doesn't look like it's used. Or maybe you can, look. Oh, look at that. It does still go up. There's been a few tales told in here. And an old window as well, look. The beams don't look that old, but the main roofing is in pretty bad condition, isn't it? Right, so after this, we've got more to do. So I'm going to follow the course of the Rivelin. There's another sighting tower to be found as well, just beyond the moorland over there. There's a footpath taking along down there. So I'm going to stop for lunch, then we'll leave this behind and push on. This stone bridge is nice, isn't it? I wonder if this was built at the same time as the other one, 1953, at that outlet at the dam. It's like a miniature canal bridge. That's where we've just come from. You might just make out the waterworks building over there. That's nice, isn't it? So here we have our fourth and final tunnel sighting tower. She's going to be straight below there, running across in that direction, off towards the Rivelin Reservoirs in that direction. But to find four of these, three of them intact, one of them a pile of rubble. I was led to believe there was actually only three of them, two of them standing and one of them being the pile of rubble. So to find three of them, and this is the more well-known one, being on the footpath. Well, there's your plug hole, looking very, very daunting indeed. Water level hasn't really dropped that much, has it? I expect it's the height of the reservoir that's keeping it topped up as opposed to the water flow, so that is coming down very, very calm compared to a couple of weeks ago. The shoe has gone. Who remembers the shoe being on the edge? That has disappeared. down just there into an underground reservoir. 4.5 miles this water has travelled all the way from Ladybower Reservoir. Absolutely amazing that we've been able to do this and trace its route. So what happens next? Seeing we're at the end of this journey, there's a little bit more it's got to do, and this is a small underground reservoir. So the water is sat in there for a little while before it is deposited into the Rivelin Reservoirs, which I'll show you now. So another quick reminder of that picture standing above the outlets of Rivelin Tunnel. Now you know where I've just been. It puts into perspective what the area is and what the area used to be right outside the exit of that tunnel. And this is where the tunnel reaches its destination, Rivelin Reservoirs. And here is what it looked like back around about 1950. You see the reservoirs and all the woodland around it. There it is, journey's end. Coming out of the underground reservoir, the tunnel is about 20-25 metres up there. And the reservoir you can just see poking through behind these twigs and trees. 4.5 miles later, the water from Ladybower comes down here and tops up Rivelin Reservoir. That's about it. That's another walk and explore complete. We know the origins of the Rivelin Tunnel, don't we now? There's the reservoir just there, look. You can see the dam in the distance for the upper reservoir. I can't help but feel there's more stuff to do around here. Look at that. Beautiful views. You see the discharge of water just coming down there and carrying on its journey. So if you know of anything similar or anything amazing that I could go and look at, film, let me know, comment below. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.